Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the topic that is state of matter. Previous lectures, previous discussion, we have to see the basic informations, basic concept regarding state of matter. Three states are there: solid, liquid and gas. Their intermolecular force and intramolecular force that we have to see. Okay, today we have to see the state of matters in gas, liquid and the solid phase. First one, that is gaseous state. So the gases, they are compressible fluid and has no definite shape and the volume. So in gaseous, intermolecular force are weaker as compared to that we have to see in the solid and liquid, because distance between the molecules, the gaseous molecules, are larger as compared to the solid and the liquids. So their behavior is simple and predictive. The general properties that we have to characteristic for the gases, the general properties, we can say that the expandability, the compressibility, we can assume both with that shape and the volume of that container. The expandabilities are the compressibility, compressible fluids, diffusibility, pressure, and the effect of heat. So increase the temperature, increase the pressure, that affect into the volume parts. So like that the general characteristic of properties of the gases are there. The applications we are widely used in anesthetic gas, in the sterilization gases process, fuel, that already we have to know. The gas in the chemical process, chemical reactions like that, hydrogen, nitrogen, we have to use in the preparation of ammonia, refrigeration gas. So like that in the aerosol preparations, the propellant. So like that the application of that gaseous state, gaseous molecule that we have to use in the pharma field. So two types of gases are there: compressed gases and liquefied gas. So owing to the rapid motion and resultant collisions, molecules travels in that random path. So that exerts that we have to see three main parameters: that pressure, volume and temperatures. So existence of gas is largely dependent on that temperature. So gases are miscible in all proportion that compare with the solid and liquids. As the temperatures that we have to increase, so that liquid that absorb the heat, so there the intermolecular forces between that molecules, it becomes the weaker, and the molecules that go for the escape into the vapor form. That process we can call as a vaporizations. And for solid to gas, that is the sublimation. So before we have to go in the gaseous law, we have to see the kinetic molecular theory. So it is based on the motion of the particle, the movement of the particles, particularly gas molecules. So that behaves exactly as a based on their kinetic molecular theory. That is, we can call as an ideal gas. Follow. So the assumptions for the kinetic molecular theory, that is, the gases consist of tiny particles. The distance between the particle is large compared with the size of the particles. Volume occupied by the gas consists mostly the empty space. Gas particles have no attractions with each other from one another molecules. Gas particles move straight line in all the directions. So colliding frequently with one another, each other, and with the wall of the container. No energy that is lost by the collision of the gas particles with each other, gas particles, or with the wall of container. All collisions are perfectly elastic, and the average kinetic energy of the particles is the same for all the gases at the same temperature, and each value is directly proportional to the Kelvin temperature. So these are some assumptions for the kinetic molecular theory, and the equations for that, the K is equal to 1/2 under mv square. So we have to see the gas law, which are the different gas laws are. So several laws that are used to describe the behavior of gas. The volume of the given sample of the gas, that is dependent on two major parameters, that is temperature and the pressure that we have to apply. So based on there, the volume of the given gas or sample, that is depend the temperature and pressure that we have to apply. So any change in that two parameters, that is temperature and pressures, that will directly affect on the volume of the gas. So all the gas law that explain the behavior of gas, that the relationship among the pressure, temperature and the volume, in between that three parameters all the gaseous laws are there, they describe. So the relationship between among the pressure, temperature and the volume of that given sample of the gas, that describe, that we can call the all the gas law. So we have to see one by one. The first one, that is Boyle's law. So it is the relationship between the pressure and the volume, the P and the V. So it states that at a constant temperature, so here the relationship between the pressure and volume, so the temperature that we have to go for the constant. So we have to know about in all the law, that is what is the relationship between pressure and volume, pressure and temperature, temperature and volume, so like that, and which parameter that we have to put the constant. So that is all the laws. So state that at constant temperature, so here the first is that temperature that we have to put the constant. So at the constant temperature, the volume of a fixed mass of the gas, fixed mass of our sample gas, is inversely proportional to the pressure. So here the correlation between pressure and volume, that is indirectly proportional. Volume is indirectly proportional to the pressure. So if we increase the pressure, the volume goes to decrease, and we decrease the pressure, the volume goes to increase. So that is the relation. So we said V is directly proportional to the 1 upon P. So V is equal to K into 1 upon P. The K is the constant. So PV is equal to K. If we have to see that, so PV become constant. So P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So V is represent the volume of gas and the P is the pressure that we have to apply. So here, so the demonstrations they are given in the first, at the 1 atmospheric, so our atmospheric temperature, so pressure that normal at 1 atmosphere, so the V is 1000 ml. Then now we have to increase the pressure from 1 to 2 atmospheric pressure, so the volume reduce up to half, so it is 500 ml. Further we have to improve from pressure from 2 to 4, so it becomes, volume becomes 250. So it means if we increase the pressure, so it decrease the volume of that sample, that mass of the gas. So that is the Boyle's law. Second one, that is Charles law. So here the relationship between temperature and volume. Previously that we have to see the pressure and volume. Here we have to see the relationship between the temperature and volume. So here the Charles law states that at a constant pressure, previously we have to constant the temperature, here we have to constant the pressure. So at a constant pressure, the volume of fixed mass of gas is directly proportional to the absolute temperature or Kelvin temperature. Here we have to use the Kelvin temperatures or absolute temperature. So the volume is directly proportional to the temperature. Previously volume is inversely proportional to the pressure. Pressure increase, volume decrease. Here temperature increase, so volume also increasing. So the effect of temperatures on the volume of gas at a constant pressure, the volume of fixed mass of any gas is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. So V is directly proportional to the temperature. So V is equal to KT. V upon T is equal to K. It means V upon T is equal to constant. So V1 upon T1 is equal to V2 upon T2. In the demonstration that we have to see that at the temperature, pressure, that is we have to maintain constant 1 atmospheric pressure. So in the A and B, the first one, that is T1 and T2. In T1 the temperature, the volume of the volume of the mass of the gas or the volume of the gas, that is we have to see in the A. If we increase the temperature, so it also increase the volume. So that is the statement of the Charles law. The third one, Gay-Lussac's law. So here the relationship between the pressure and the temperature. So here the statement that is between the pressure and the temperature of that gas. So in a special case of the ideal gas law, that is the Gay-Lussac's law. So he states that at a constant volume. So here we have to maintain or constant the volume. The pressure of the fixed mass of the gas at a constant volume that we have to see. So it is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. So pressure is directly proportional to the temperature. So P is equal to KT. So P upon T is equal to K. It means constant P upon T. So P1 upon T1 is equal to P2 upon T2. So here that we have to see in the demonstration. So at the lower temperature in the ice bath, that in the ice bath the pressure that is 1 atmosphere. If we increase the temperature, so the pressure also increasing. So in the boiling water, so that in the fixed volume we have to put the constant. So in the ice bath at the lower temperature, the pressure also what atmosphere. If we increase the temperature from freezing from 0 degrees Celsius to in the boiling water like 100 degrees Celsius, so the pressure of that the fixed gas, the fixed volume, that mass of the gas, that increasing the pressure up to 1 atmosphere into 1.37. So this is the statement of that Gay-Lussac's law. Next one, that is combined gas law. So here we have to go for the combination of the previous three law. So the Boyle's, Charles and Gay-Lussac laws can be combined into that one relationship, and then that is called as a combined gas law. So gas law can be combined and treated as a single law, that is which describe the relationship among the three parameters, that is pressure, volume and the temperature of the constant amount of that gas. So that the equations become P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. Sorry. Next law, that is Avogadro law. So that is the relationship between the volume and the amount. So here the law states that the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the number of moles in the gas. So number of moles in the gas at a constant temperature and pressure. So here both the parameter temperature and pressure that we have to put constants, and the relationship between volume and the amount, the constant number of moles. So volume of gas is directly proportional to the amount of Z at a constant temperature and pressure. So equal volumes of different gas has the same temperature and pressure that contain the same number of molecules. So V directly proportional to the N. So V is equal to constant, anything A, that K we have to use, and the N. So V upon N is equal to K or constant. So V1 upon N1 is equal to V2 upon N2. The next one, that is the ideal gas equation. So here the three law that we have to use in combined gas, that we have to use Boyle, Charles and Gay-Lussac. Here three law that we have to use for the ideal gas, that is Boyle's, Charles and the Avogadro. So there is for four variables in the calculation, that is we have to use volume, pressure, temperature and the number of molecules, that is N. So combine these variables into single equation, single relationship, single expression, that is our ideal gas equation. So that it becomes that volume is directly proportional to the number of moles and the temperature divided by the pressure, so inversely proportional to the pressure. So that is also called as a universal gas law, or we can call as ideal gas law. So here the volume of a given amount of a gas is directly proportional to the number of moles of gas, temperature and inversely proportional to the pressure. So V is equal to R and T upon P. Then also we can write that PV is equal to N into RT. R, that is a gas constant. So here we have to see the PV is equal to N into RT. So P represent pressure, V is equal to volume, N the number of moles of gas, R is the gas constant, so that is dependent on the unit of the pressure, temperature and the volume, T is the temperature. So here the values are given for the pressure, kilopascal, volume that we have to use in the liters, temperature that is Kelvin. So volume and the temperature that we have to measure unit, that is liter and the Kelvin. Only the gas constant and the pressure like 1 atmosphere to or kilopascals like it. So the ideal gas, it is one that is which obey the gas law or the ideal gas equations at all the pressure and the temperature. So no gas is ideal almost, that we have to see all the gases show some significant deviations from that ideal laws or ideal behaviors. So that we have to see that in the next part. So here the summarizations of that all the gaseous law that we have to see previously, that Boyle's law, P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So here the temperature that we have to put the constant and pressure increase with volume decrease. So it's inversely proportional. The pressure is inversely proportional to volume, or volume is inversely proportional to the pressure. Charles law, that is V1 upon T1 is equal to V2 upon T2. Here we have to put the constant, that is pressure, and volume is directly proportional to temperature. So volume increase, temperature increase. Gay-Lussac law, so P1 T1 is equal to P2 T2 P21. So at constants we have to put the volume, so the pressure is directly proportional to the temperature. So pressure increasing, temperature increase. Combined law, we have to go for the combination of the three law, Boyle's law, Charles law and the Gay-Lussac. So P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. Then the ideal gas law, the combination of Boyle's law, Charles law and Avogadro. So here we have to put the constant, that is pressure, temperature. So PV is equal to nRT. So the ideal gas which obey the, we have to already see the ideal gas that is obey the ideal law or ideal gas equations, that is PV is equal to nRT for all temperature and the pressure. So it is known as a perfect gas, universal gas, ideal gas, like that. So ordinary temperature, H2 and N2 are the perfect gas. Real gas do not follow the ideal gas equation. There application for the ideal gas, so that is used for converting the volume of gas from one temperature and pressure to the another temperature pressure, that you have to find out with that 1 kilomole of that gas under the definite conditions of temperature pressure that always occupy the definite volume, that is regardless of the nature of the gas. So that is molar volume we can call. It is useful for the calculations of recovery from the chemical process, amount of gas that we have to recover. Helps in calculating the change in the volume as the content of the container in the aerosol spray. That times that we have to help is in determination of molecular mass of that gases. So that time also we have to use ideal gas. So we have to generally see most of the gases are not obey or follow the ideal gas law or ideal gas equations. So say they giving some deviations from that ideal behaviors. So thus that the gases which fails to that obey the ideal gas equations, ideal law, gas law. So with that we have to term as a non-ideal gas or the real gas. So most real gas that actual do behave as similar as nearly as predicted by the ideal gas law over a fairly wide range of the temperature and the pressure. So when conditions are such that gas molecules are crowded closely together, so high pressure or low temperature, they show some deviations in the behavior. So from ideal behavior, many gases become liquid at high pressure and the low temperature. So that the deviations are there. So that we have to explain by the Van der Waals equations for the real gas. So real gas are not composed of that infinite small and perfectly elastic non-attracting sphere. They are composed of molecules with finite volume and they tend to attract one with each other So that equations, van der Waals equations are there. P plus A upon V square in the bracket V minus V is equal to RT. So n moles of gas, so that we have to add the n values in the equations. So the deviations from the ideal gas flow, that we have to see that they not obey the ideal gas equations, that is PV is equal to nRT at all pressure temperature. This sums give the significant deviations from the ideal behavior. So that is our non-ideal real gas. So here the compressibility factors are there. So the compressibility factor, that is Z. So the deviations from the ideal gas or equations, that may be shown by the plot. We have to plot the graph, the compressibility factor against the P, means pressure. So for the ideal gas, that we have to see if in the case of ideal gas PV is equal to nRT, so the compressibility factor Z is become 1. That is independent of temperature and pressure. So that deviations from the ideal behavior of real gases will be determined by the value of the G. So it will be greater than or less than the 1. That possibilities are there in the deviations from the ideal gas. So in case of real gas, so the PV does not equal to nRT, so Z is not equal to 1. So that is the deviations from the ideal behavior. So in the real gas, there may be possibility Z values can be less than 1 or the greater than 1. So that the difference between that unity and the volume of compressibility factor gas is a measure of the degree of non-ideality of that gas. So that from the real gas, the deviations from the ideal behavior, that is dependent on the pressure and the temperature. So when the Z less than 1, so that we have to call as a negative deviation. So it is so that the gas is more compressible than the expected ideal behaviors. And when the Z is greater than 1, so that is positive deviation, and it shows that the gas is less compressible than the expected from the ideal behaviors. So here the graph is there that represents the deviation from the ideal gas, or that is behavior of real gas, that is dependent on the pressure and the temperature factor. So the first so the effect of pressure, that is on the deviation. So we have to plot the graph between compressibility factor, that is Z, PV upon RT, versus pressure for the H2 gas, N2 and the CO2 at a constant temperature. So here we have to put the temperature constant, and we have to see the effect of pressure on the deviation, and we have to give the dotted straight line for the ideal gas, that is ideal gas line, and then we have to see the deviation for the real gas, so at very low pressure. So in the low pressure, for all the gases, that is H2, N2, CO2 like that, so all the gases J is approximately equal to the 1 at the low pressure. Then so it up to 10 atmosphere or below 10 atmosphere at the low temperature. So real gases exhibit nearly it becomes ideal behavior. Now as the pressure that we have to increase, so what happened in that? So it the H2 that shows continuous increase in Z from means we can say that thus H2 curves lines above the ideal gas curve at the all the pressure. So for N2 and CO2, the first that go for the decreasing. So Z value is less than 1 for the N2, also CH4 and the CO2. It means the yellow line, green line and blue line, that is the orange or yellow line represent the N2, this green it represents the CH4 and the blue for the CO2. So if when the pressures go for the increasing, so the N2 and CO2 first they go for the decrease the Z value less than 1, so it lies below the ideal gas line, it passes through the minimum, and then it go for increasing continues with the pressure increasing, so it becomes Z greater than 1. For H2, that is the red line, so for H2 that it continues increasing Z value from Z is equal to 1, it is ideal gas. From that it is above, so H2 curve lies above the ideal gas curve at all the pressure. For N2, CH4 and CO2, initially it below the ideal line, it means below Z value is less than 1. After some time the pressure also increasing continuously. After some times it goes for the above the ideal gas, means Z is equal to 1, so more than, so it is greater than 1 values that we have to find out. Now we have to see the second parameters, two parameters that we have to see that is affected into the behavior deviations, that is pressure and temperature. So the second, that is the effect of temperature on the deviation. So here we have to go for the plot the graph, that is compressibility factor versus atmosphere, PV upon RT versus P. So for the nitrogen gas, N2 gas at the different temperature. So here we have to see the shape of the curve, that from the deviation from the ideal gas behavior become less and less with increasing the temperature. So at low temperature, that we have to see initially, low temperature, the dip in the curve is large, and the slope that we have to see, as the temperature is rise, the dip in the curve going for decreasing, and certain temperature, the minimum in the curve that we have to see in the curve remaining horizontal for the appreciable range of the pressure. So at the time temperature, PV upon RT is almost unity, and is the Boyle's laws is obeyed. Hence this temperature for the gas is called as a Boyle's temperature. So for the Boyle's temperature for each gas is characteristic. For example, for the nitrogen gas, it around 32 K is there. So here we can see if the lower temperatures, as the curve we have to see for that is deep in the line below the ideal gas, and then we have to increase the temperature from 200 K to 1000 K for the nitrogen gas only. So gas is, so that we have to see the blue line. So that curve, deep curve, it go for the decreasing minimum, and it becomes like a straight line with the increasing the temperature. Next point, that is the liquefaction of the gases. So liquefaction of gas, that is the process that when we have to go for the cooling. So the gas, we have to reduce the temperature, then when the gas is cooled below its critical temperature, so it loses the energy, the part of their kinetic energy in the form of heat. So it loses the heat when the gas is go for the cooling, and it also the movement of that molecules, their motion, the speed of that molecules also decreasing. Then if the pressure is applied to that gas, so it switch to the from gas to the liquid state, from gas state to the liquid state, that conditions. So liquefaction we can call as a gas is a process by which substance in their gaseous states are converted into the liquid state. So when the pressure of the gas is increased, its molecules that comes together, its temperature is reduced, so which removes the enough energy to make the change from gaseous to the liquid. So the various methods that we have to employ for the liquefaction of the gas, that is depend on the technique that we have to use to attain the low temperature. Generally three methods that we have to apply: the Faraday's method, Linde's method, and the Claude's method. So Faraday's method, so which cooling is done with the freezing, mixed freezing methods like that in the approach in the Faraday, and Linde's method, the compressed gas, which compressed gas is released at the narrow jet, that approach that we have to use in the Linde's method. In the Claude's methods, in that we have to, which gas is allowed to do mechanically with that work we have to apply. So the liquefaction of the gases depends on that methods that we have to apply to attain to reduce the lower temperatures for that liquefaction of gas. So when we have to see that the critical temperatures above which it is impossible of the liquefy of a gas irrespective of the pressure applied, and critical pressures, so the pressure that required to liquefy the gas as at critical temperature, which is also the highest vapor pressure that the liquid can have. The further gas is cooled below its critical temperature, the less pressure is required to go for the liquefy. So here the example, critical temperature of the water, that is 374 degrees Celsius, and its critical pressure, that is 1 atmospheric. Here the demonstration is there for the pressure and the volume, the isotherms of carbon dioxide at various temperature. So in the diagrams that we have to see, the blue portions are there. So in that pressure and the temperature conditions, the CO2 is in a gaseous phase. So the blue portions are there. In that graph, in that range of that pressure and the temperature, CO2 in the gaseous phase. In the pink portions, that particular pressure and temperatures, that portions, the CO2 in a liquid phase. And in the orange portions are there, so CO2 in a liquid and gaseous, both the phase are there, the particular pressure and the temperature. Second one, that is solid state. So in that, the characteristic that we have to see, the interparticle attractions are stronger as compared to liquid and the gaseous. That is closely bound with each other, definite shapes are there, rigidities are there, stiffness are there, definite volume, mass are there, definite the melting points, compressibility is less, practically incompressibles are there, so elasticity to a certain extent and further fracture base like that. So that is the solid characteristics. The applications, drug and excipients that is employed, that is used in the formulation in any solid dosage forms. It is in a solid state, in a powder form, particles, the crystal forms, the preparation of tablet capsules, in the liquid dosage forms, the API, the excipients, dry shape, dry powder for the injections. These all are in a exist in the solid state in the earth. So fine powder dispersed in the liquids, so which can be used in the preparation of parenteral injection, as also as aerosols preparation. Easy to handling of the packaging and transportation, that is the solid applications are the most stable, so decomposition prevented as compared to the liquid form, that is more stable. In the solid state, that is in crystalline solid process the rigid and long range, that is also crystalline solid form are there, and second one, that is amorphous form, crystal form and amorphous form. In crystals, solid atom molecules ionic occupy specific positions, specific structure, internal structures are there. In amorphous solid does not possess a well defined arrangement, so it is in random orders. There is no specific positions and three-dimensional structures are there as compared to crystalline. So here the difference between comparisons they are given, the crystalline and the amorphous solid. So in crystalline they have a definite shape, the geometrical form. In the amorphous there is no definite geometrical shapes are there. They have a sharp melting point, and there is a wide range of that the melt temperatures are there. They are rigid and incompressible. They too are usually rigid and cannot be compressed, but graphite is soft because of its unusual structure as compared to crystalline form. They have a clean cleavage, break into the piece with the plane surface, irregular cleavages. They have a definite heat of fusions, do not have the definite heat of fusions. That is anisotropic, so their mechanical properties and electrical properties, that is dependent on the directions along which they are measured. That is isotropic, they have a similar physical properties. In crystalline form, so many crystals are there, so we can call the polymorph. They have a different their melting point, their density, solubility, so the properties are different with a different form. Here they have a similar physical properties in all the directions because they constituent are arranged in a random manner. Crystalline solid, that parts are the crystal lattice or the space lattice, the orderly internal arrangement of the particles in the three-dimensional space. Unit cell, the smallest geometric portions which repeat to build up the whole crystals, face the plane surface of a crystal. Axial angle and length are there. Angle between two perpendicular to the intersecting face. Distance between the center of the two atoms. Here some shapes are there for the crystals, that is cubic, also called isometric, hexagonal, tetragonal, triclinic, monoclinic, orthorhombic. So like that the different shapes for the crystals. Crystal habit, so the outer appearance of that crystal, that we have to call the crystal habits. Drug may have more than one crystalline form, so crystal habit may affect the absorption parts. So depending on the arrangement of that face, crystal habits are columnar, blade, plate, tabular, equant, like that. The second terminology is in the crystal form, that is polymorphism. So that is the compound or substance that form more than two crystal forms. So that is called the polymorph, and this process is called the polymorphism. So ability of substance exists more than one crystalline structure. Here that 63% barbiturates, 76 steroids, 40% sulfomides, class of drugs, substance that is exhibit polymorphism. So differ to their each other by their the properties, that is density, already we have to discuss, melting point, solubility, and the dissolution rate. So that also affect into the absorption part. Here the examples given for the polymorphs: chloramphenicol palmitate, they have A, B and C type of three polymorphs are the phenobarbitones 1, 2, 3, like that. They have to classify the allotropy. If an element crystallizes are more than one distinct crystalline species, so carbon exhibiting cubic, diamond, hexagonal, graphite, sulfur exhibit 2, rhombic, monoclinic, like that. Stable form, so in that polymorph differ in their melting point. Highest melting species is called the stable form. Stable and metastable type of polymorphs are there. The application of that polymorphisms, so that enhance the solubility. Examples here they given: riboflavin 1, 2 and 3s are there. The melting point also differ, 291, 278 and 183. Drug that is stem, riboflavin, melting points are different, and that riboflavin in stable form, that is the melting point is 291 degrees Celsius. Other two are called the metastable. In the polymorph, one is the stable form, other all are called as a metastable form. So metastable form have a low melting point, but the aqueous solubility is higher as compared to stable polymorph. Here we have to see the riboflavin form 1, that is stable polymorph, their aqueous solubility is 60 mg per ml, as compared to riboflavin form 3, that is metastable 2 and 3, their melting point is 183, below their stable, but their solubility is much more, 1200 mg per ml. So it enhances the solubility. Metastable form have highest solubility, so higher dissolutions are also there. Examples are the methylprednisolone form 2 has 1.4 times higher rate of dissolution that compared with the stable form, that is form 1. So it improves the dissolution, improve the solubility, improve the dissolution rate, so that directly affect the absorption also. That for same example, methylprednisolone, that also increase the higher rate of absorption as compared to the stable form. So these are the applications of that polymorph that improve the solubility, their dissolution rate and the viability or absorption. Pseudomorphism, so defined as a solid form which arise because of the inclusion of small amount of solvent of the crystallization. So that is solvents. Other terms, that is hydrates. So the solubility of solvent is term higher than the hydrates, because hydrates already the water molecules enter up in that part, so they have less tendency towards the water. So if it do not contain water, known as anhydrous form, they have highest aqueous solubility as compared to the hydrates part. Isomorphisms, so it is ability of forming crystals of similar shape by different chemical substance. So isomorphism due to the same chemical constitution, magnesium sulfate, zinc sulfate, like the examples. Next, the types of crystal, that is ionic crystal, so that lattice points occupied by the cations and anions, so that is held together by the electrostatic attraction, that is hard, brittle. Their high melting points are there, but poor conductor of heat and the electricity. So that is the ionic crystals occupied by cations and anions. Second, covalent crystals, so that is points occupied by the atoms, that is held by the covalent bond, that is also high melting point, hard, and similar like ionic, poor conductor of heat and electricity. Third one, that is metallic crystal, so the lattice points that is occupied by the metal, held together by the metallic bond, that is soft to hard, low to high melting point, as compared to previous two, that is good conductor of heat and the electricity. Here the comparison summarizations for that ionic, metallic, covalent beings like that, and their force, their properties, and the examples. The next one, the liquid crystals. There is a fourth state of matters, that is liquid crystalline state. So that is the state, okay, that liquid crystals are the states of matter that has the properties between the conventional normal, that is the liquid, and the solid crystals. So intermediate properties are there, the liquid and the solid crystals. So in between that, so it possesses the characteristic of both liquid state and the crystalline solid. So liquid, the mobile in three directions, it rotates at three axes perpendicular to the one another. Solid, it is immobile, rotation that is not possible. In intermediate state, that is our liquid crystalline. So result of that heating of solids, the action of certain solvent on the solid. So here the molecules in the solid that exhibit both that we can call the positional, their positions, and the orientational order, that resulting them in a certain directions and the positions for the solid molecules. The molecules of the liquid, they do not have any positional and the orientation order. Solid have a specific positions, their orientations are there in the solid molecules. There is layer like perpendicular, similar, that parallel, like that we can say that the positions are fixed and orientations orders are also there for the solid. In the liquid, there is no specific position, orientation orders are there. So molecules in liquid crystal, now that is a characteristic of both liquid and the solid, and that is the properties of between both they have. So the molecules in liquid crystals, they do not exhibit any positional order. There is no positional order for the liquid crystal, but they do possess the certain degree of orientational order. So the liquid crystalline phase is also referred as a mesophase. Okay, so that compound which exhibits mesophase are referred as the liquid crystals. So liquid crystal molecules possess the only orientational order. The direction of that orientation in the liquid crystal, that is called the directors. So that we have to see the liquid crystals, we can mainly divide it or classify types. Two main classes are there: thermotropic, lyotropic. Thermotropic means it is dependent on the temperatures. Lyotropic, that is classified divided on the based on the concentration dependence. So here with the heating and cooling, so that the first one, that is the crystal form solid, so there is specific position, specific orientations are there, and that isotropic part like that, randomly in the liquid form, so there is no specific orientation, positions are there, randomly they are there. In between that, that is our liquid crystal. So that we have to see one by one. Smectic, so in that molecules that mobile in two directions, so rotate about one axis, so that form the tertiary complex mix containing surfactant, water, weakly amphiphilic, non-polar, elective, like that. So like that the smectic positions are there, their orientations. Then second one, that is the pneumatic, thread like, previous one soap like that. We have to see that thread like molecules mobile in three directions, rotate about one axis. That is the third one, that is cholesteric. So special case of pneumatic. So in the atherosclerosis, cholesterol and the lipid leads to be insoluble liquid crystal, and that result in plaque formations like that. So that type of the types of that liquid crystals are there. Now we have to see what is the properties, or we can say the significance of that liquid crystals. So birefringence properties of the crystals. So light passing through that material is divided into the two components with different velocities, so having different refractive indexes are there. Color change with the temperature, so detect areas of elevated temperature under the skin due to the disease process. Nematic, that display system. Nematic solubilize the water insoluble material, that increase their physical stability of that emulsion. So here we have to see the gaseous state, the solid state. In gaseous state, that we have to see the kinetic molecular theory, the gaseous law, Boyle's law, Charles law, Gay-Lussac, combined gas equations are there, Avogadro, ideal gas equations. Then what is ideal gas, what is real gas? There is a deviation from the ideal gas, so behavior of that real gas, Van der Waals equation for that. Then the positive negative deviations are there. Then we have to see the solid crystalline state, polymorphism, then liquefacions of that gases, then liquid crystals. So that we have to see in that discussion part. Okay, thank you.